Elysium Station floated like a silver jewel in the darkness of space, its bright lights reflecting off the endless stars surrounding it. Ships of all sizes came and went, carrying humans to distant colonies, research stations, and mining outposts. In this hub of human achievement, where technology and courage met, life moved at a fast pace, and every individual had a role to play. Commander Alex Rain walked along the main concourse, his boots clicking softly against the polished metal floor. He had always loved this station, not just for its advanced systems, but for the sense of purpose it gave its residents. Every person he passed seemed busy, driven by goals that were sometimes bigger than life itself. Alex himself was a celebrated pilot, known for his courage during emergency missions and for leading crews through the toughest situations in the outer colonies. Yet, despite all the accolades and the recognition he had earned, there was a part of him that still longed for something more, something real, something human. He rounded a corner near the engineering bay, nearly collided with a young woman carrying a heavy stack of tools. She moved with a strange grace, careful and precise, yet confident. Her hair was tied back in a loose braid, and her eyes sparkled with intelligence and determination. Alex stepped back quickly, raising a hand. "Sorry," he said, smiling. The woman smiled faintly, not stopping her stride. "No harm done," she said, her voice calm but firm. "But you might want to watch where you're going. Space stations can be unforgiving if you're not careful." Alex raised an eyebrow. "You're right about that. I'm Alex, by the way." "Commander Alex Rain." The woman paused, her eyes scanning him quickly. "Lyra Voss," she said, "engineer. And if you're going to be wandering these corridors, Commander, you might learn that caution saves lives more often than courage does." Alex chuckled. There was something about her that made him want to know more. She wasn't just confident. There was a calm strength about her that seemed to radiate from within. But at the same time, there was something hidden behind her eyes, something she didn't show at first glance. "Engineer? Huh?" he asked. "I've heard the engineers on this station are the real heroes. Pilots just get the glory." Lyra shrugged. "Heroes are everywhere. Some just don't get noticed." She turned to continue her work, but then paused, glancing at him over her shoulder. "Do you only care about beauty?" she asked softly, almost as if she were speaking to herself. Alex blinked, taken aback. Her words were quiet but sharp, as though they cut through the usual chatter of the station. "Excuse me?" he asked. She didn't answer immediately, just walked away with the tools in her hands, leaving him standing there, wondering if he had imagined the question. But no, the words echoed in his mind. "Do you only care about beauty?" Alex shook his head, trying to dismiss the thought. He had been trained to focus on what mattered: missions, strategy, survival, not appearances. But something about Lyra made him pause. She carried herself with a quiet dignity that went beyond looks. And yet something told him there was more to her story than she let on. The next few days were a blur of activity for Alex. The station had received a warning from the Outer Colonies network. A rogue alien probe was drifting near. A settlement on the edge of human-controlled space. It had disrupted communications and threatened to collide with the colony. Alex was assigned to lead a higher-risk mission to intercept the probe and neutralize it. As he prepared for the mission, he noticed Lyra again. She had been assigned as the mission's lead engineer, a role that required someone who could think quickly under pressure and solve problems that seemed impossible. Watching her work, Alex realized that the rumors he had heard about her intelligence were true. She moved with precision, examining complex machinery, adjusting circuits, and offering solutions to problems that even veteran engineers would hesitate to tackle. During a break, Alex approached her. "Lyra," he began, "I didn't expect to see you here on this mission. You're normally in the maintenance bays, aren't you?" She looked up from her tablet, eyes calm but piercing. "I don't stay in one place. If humans are going to explore the stars, we need people who can adapt. I prefer challenges that matter." Alex nodded, impressed. "I can see that. You're really good at this." Lyra's eyes softened slightly, but a shadow crossed her face. "Good enough to survive," she said quietly, almost to herself. Then she looked at him directly, her voice firm. "But tell me, Commander, do you only notice what's on the surface?" Alex froze. Her question was direct, and yet it wasn't an accusation. It was curiosity, perhaps even a test. I don't know, he admitted. I like to think I see more than appearances. I can't say I've always been right about it. Lyra gave a small nod, as if satisfied with his answer, but not fully convinced. She returned to her work, and Alex walked away, feeling unsettled. There was something about her scars, something hidden beneath the calm exterior. He didn't know the full story yet, but he sensed that understanding it might change how he viewed strength, courage, and human resilience. That evening, Alex found himself standing by a viewport, staring at the stars. The vastness of space made every human concern feel small. Yet at the same time, the challenges of life on Elysium Station were monumental. He thought about Lyra and her quiet determination, her refusal to let the past define her. He realized that appearances could be deceiving, and that true courage often came in forms that were not immediately visible. The next morning, the mission team gathered in the briefing room. Alex scanned the faces of his crew, noting the tension and anticipation. They were a mix of pilots, engineers, and specialists, all trained to handle crises in space. At the front of the room, Lyra quietly adjusted her equipment, preparing for the simulations and calculations they would need to intercept the rogue probe. Alex approached her before the briefing began. "Lyra, I want you to know something," he said. "I'm glad you're on this mission, not just because you're good at what you do, because I think I can learn something from you." Lyra looked at him, a faint smile on her lips. "Maybe we can both learn something," she said. The briefing began, and the crew dived into maps, projections, and calculations. Alex noticed how Lyra's mind worked, connecting patterns and predicting outcomes that others had missed. Presence was calming, yet energizing, a force that made the whole team better. And through it all, Alex remembered her words from their first encounter. "Do you only care about beauty?" He realized that beauty in its truest form was not something visible. It was courage under pressure, resilience in the face of hardship, and the quiet strength to continue despite past scars. Lyra embodied all of these qualities, and Alex felt a growing respect and something more for the woman behind the calm exterior. By the end of the day, Alex was exhausted but inspired. He knew the coming mission would test every skill and every ounce of human ingenuity they possessed. But he also knew that having someone like Lyra on his side made the impossible seem achievable. As the crew dispersed for the night, Alex lingered near the engineering bay. He watched Lyra finish her work, carefully placing each tool back in its place, her movements precise and deliberate. For a moment, she paused and looked at him, a hint of vulnerability in her eyes, though she quickly masked it with a composed expression. "Good night, Commander," she said softly. "Good night, Lyra," Alex replied. "And thank you for everything." She nodded, a small smile breaking through, and walked away. Alex stayed behind for a while, staring out at the stars again. He realized that understanding someone's scars, whether visible or hidden, was the beginning of understanding true strength. And somehow, he knew that the coming days would challenge him in ways he had never imagined, not just as a commander, but as a human being. Elysium Station continued to glow in the darkness, a beacon of human determination and hope, and somewhere, among the stars, two people were about to embark on a journey that would test courage, resilience, and the very meaning of beauty. The next morning, Elysium Station buzzed with more urgency than usual. The alert from the Outer Colonies network had escalated overnight. The rogue alien probe was moving unpredictably. Now dangerously close to the colony on Haven 7, a small human settlement known for its scientific outposts. The colony's defensive systems were too weak to stop it, and the command center had no time to send reinforcements. Commander Alex Rain strode into the mission briefing room, his mind already running through calculations, flight plans, and contingencies. The team had gathered a mix of engineers, pilots, and security personnel. Their faces reflected determination and nervousness. Alex could sense the weight of responsibility on each of them. Millions of lives depended on their success. At the front of the room, Lyra Voss quietly adjusted her tablet, scanning the probe's trajectory. Her calm presence contrasted sharply with the tension in the room. Every move she made was precise and deliberate. She didn't speak unnecessarily, yet everyone knew her abilities were unmatched. Alex felt a surge of respect and a quiet reassurance, knowing she was on this mission with him. "All right," Alex began, his voice steady but commanding. "This probe is not like anything we've seen before. It doesn't respond to conventional communication signals. It's moving unpredictably, and its path could intersect with the colony in less than 12 hours. Our job is simple: intercept, assess, and neutralize it before it can cause harm." A murmur of concern ran through the team. Neutralizing an alien probe with unknown technology was dangerous, even for the most experienced crew. But Alex's confidence in Lyra and the team gave them courage. "Commander," Lyra spoke, her voice calm but firm, "I've analyzed the probe's pattern. It seems to adjust its trajectory based on external energy fields. If we can predict the changes, we can create a counterfield to divert it safely. I'll need access to the engineering deck on the Aurora-class shuttle during the mission. And I may need to make modifications in real time." Alex nodded. "You'll have full access." "Lyra, I trust your judgment." Her eyes briefly met his, and for a moment, Alex saw a flicker of something deeper: determination, yes, but also the hint of past struggles she carried quietly, hidden beneath her calm exterior. He remembered her question from their first encounter. "Do you only care about beauty?" Now he knew she wasn't speaking about appearances. She was challenging him and everyone else to see strength and courage where it was not immediately visible. The mission began with a shuttle launch from Elysium Station. The Aurora-class vessel cut through the vacuum of space, its engines leaving a trail of blue light against the black sky. Inside, the team worked efficiently. Alex handled navigation and communication. Lyra monitored systems, and the engineers and pilots coordinated with precision. Every second counted as they approached the outer edge of human-controlled space. The probe came into view, a sleek silver object, its surface reflecting the light of nearby stars. Its movements were erratic, sudden shifts that made calculations nearly impossible. But Lyra was unfazed. She quickly mapped its energy fields and began adjusting the shuttle's shielding to withstand any sudden bursts of radiation it might emit. "Commander," she said, her voice focused, "I need to get closer. I can deploy the counterfield from the probe's flank, but it's risky. One miscalculation and we could be hit." Alex weighed the options. Retreat was not possible. The probe was too close to the colony. "Do it," he ordered. "We're counting on you." The shuttle maneuvered closer, weaving through the vast darkness of space. Alex noticed how Lyra's hands moved over the controls, precise and confident. There was no hesitation. Her focus was absolute, and yet he saw something else: a trace of past pain. A memory she carried, but refused to let define her. He realized that her courage didn't come from the absence of fear. It came from facing it repeatedly and choosing to act anyway. Suddenly, the probe emitted a sharp pulse of energy, and the shuttle shook violently. Alarms blared, and sparks flew from the control panels. Alex gritted his teeth, gripping his seat. "Status," he shouted. Lyra's voice was steady. "Minor overload in the secondary reactor. Diverting power to shields now. We can handle this, but I'll need another adjustment to the field in 5 seconds." The crew worked together seamlessly, following her commands without hesitation. Alex felt a surge of admiration, not just for her skills, but for her ability to remain calm under pressure, to take charge when the situation was at its most dangerous. As they drew closer, the probe's energy field intensified. The shuttle's systems strained under the pressure. Lyra's hands flew over the controls, making adjustments, her mind working faster than anyone else could follow. Then, without warning, the probe shifted again, moving toward the colony at alarming speed. "Brace for impact," Alex shouted. Lyra's voice cut through the chaos. "Not yet. I can divert it." She activated the counterfield, sending waves of energy that rippled through space. The probe resisted at first, but slowly it began to shift away from the colony. Sparks flew, alarms continued to blare, but the team held steady. Finally, with a final adjustment, the probe was diverted safely into an empty region of space. The shuttle rocked one last time before stabilizing. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. Alex looked at Lyra, who was still focused on her controls, making sure the probe remained on the safe path. He realized that she had not only saved the colony, but had done so without hesitation. Without self-doubt and with unmatched brilliance, Lyra, he said. His voice filled with genuine respect that was incredible. You saved them. She looked up briefly, a faint smile on her lips. We saved them, Commander. Not me alone. Alex nodded, understanding her point. But he also knew that without her courage and skill, the mission could have failed. He felt a deep admiration for her, not for her appearance, but for the strength, intelligence, and determination she displayed in the most dangerous moments. After the probe was neutralized, the team returned to Elysium Station. The crew was exhausted but triumphant. Messages of gratitude poured in from Haven 7, and Alex knew the colony would recover thanks to their quick action. Yet, amidst the celebration, he couldn't stop thinking about Lyra. Later, as they prepared for debriefing, Alex found her in the shuttle's engineering deck. Inspecting the systems for any remaining damage, she moved with the same quiet precision, checking every panel and connection. You were amazing out there, he said, leaning against the doorway. Lyra looked up, her expression calm but tired. I did my job. That's all. Alex shook his head. It's more than that. You were fearless. You didn't let anything stop you, not even the danger. And you saved lives because of it. She paused, meeting his gaze. For a moment, Alex saw the faintest shadow of vulnerability beneath her composed exterior. As if she were remembering battles she had fought alone, scars she had carried quietly. Then she spoke softly, almost a whisper. Do you only care about beauty? Alex felt a lump in his throat. He realized that the question wasn't about appearance, it was about recognition, the acknowledgement of courage, resilience, and character. No, he said sincerely. I care about strength, about people who don't give up, even when the odds are against them. And you are that person, Lyra. She looked at him, eyes softening, but still guarded. Then, you're different from most. Alex smiled gently. I try to be. The two stood in silence for a moment, looking at the shuttle systems, then at the stars outside the viewport. The mission had been dangerous, exhausting, and unpredictable, but it had also revealed something important. Alex had seen courage, intelligence, and resilience in action, and it had nothing to do with appearances. He realized that humanity's true strength lay in these qualities, in facing fear, adapting to the unknown, and protecting others. Even when the cost was high, Lyra finished her inspection and finally leaned back, stretching. We did it, she said simply. Yes, Alex agreed. And we couldn't have done it without each other. For the first time, he understood that bravery and beauty were not the same thing. True beauty was found in actions, in perseverance, and in the courage to face one's scars, both visible and hidden. And Lyra, with all her strength and quiet determination, embodied that truth perfectly. As the shuttle docked back at Elysium Station, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The mission had tested every skill they possessed, and they had succeeded. But more than that, he had learned a valuable lesson. That humanity's greatest strength was not in technology or appearances, but in resilience, intelligence, and heart. And somewhere in the quiet hum of the station, Alex knew that Lyra had just as much to teach him about those qualities as he could ever hope to teach her about leadership. The morning sun reflected off the metal corridors of Elysium Station, painting long streaks of light across the polished floors. The station hummed with activity, though the tension of the recent mission still lingered in the air. While most of the crew was busy repairing shuttle systems and logging mission reports, Commander Alex Rain found himself walking toward the engineering bay, drawn by a quiet sense of curiosity he could not explain inside. Lyra Voss was working alone, adjusting circuits on a diagnostic panel. Her movements were calm, precise, yet there was a weight in her posture that Alex had noticed before. Something beneath her controlled exterior hinted at a story she rarely shared. Lyra, Alex said softly, not wanting to startle her. Do you have a moment? She glanced up, her eyes alert but not hostile. For you, Commander. Always. There was a trace of humor in her voice, though it was muted, like a light trying to shine through a shadow. Alex hesitated for a moment before speaking. I've been thinking about the mission, about how you handled everything out there. You didn't just solve the technical problems, you saved lives. And you did it all with a calm I could barely match. Lyra smiled faintly, though her eyes betrayed a flicker of something deeper. Pain, perhaps, or memory. I didn't do it for recognition, she said. I did it because it had to be done. Because people depend on us. Alex stepped closer. I understand that. But I also want to understand you. You've always been so composed, so capable. Yet I see moments where something holds you back, something you don't show. What is it? Lyra looked down at the console, taking a slow breath. You notice things that most people don't, she admitted. Most see only what's on the surface. That's what they notice first. And I learned long ago that the world can be harsh to those who are different or damaged. Alex waited patiently, knowing that pushing her wouldn't help. He only nodded. Finally, she spoke. Years ago, I was in an accident. A shuttle malfunctioned during a mission far from any help. I survived, but not without cost. Her voice grew quieter, almost a whisper. The scars I carry are more than just physical. They remind me of failure, of fear, of loneliness. Alex's heart tightened. He had known there was something she carried, but hearing her words made it real. Lyra, I didn't know. I didn't show, she said, her tone firm. Not because I was ashamed, but because I needed to survive. People treat those with scars differently. Some admire them. Some pity them. Most. They only notice the surface. She paused, her eyes meeting his with a quiet intensity. Do you only care about beauty? Alex looked into her eyes and shook his head. No. I care about strength. About courage. About people who don't give up, even when the world has tested them. You are one of the strongest people I've ever met. For the first time, Lyra's expression softened. She didn't smile fully. But her guard lowered just enough for Alex to see the woman beneath the engineer, the survivor beneath the calm exterior. Thank you, she whispered. They stood in silence for a few moments, listening to the soft hum of machinery and the distant chatter of the station. Alex realized that understanding someone's scars wasn't about sympathy, it was about recognizing resilience, determination, and the courage to continue despite the past. The moment was broken by a sudden alert from the command system, an emergency message from the colony on Haven 7. Another alien probe, smaller but equally unpredictable, had been detected approaching the planet. Its trajectory suggested it could collide with the settlement if left unchecked. Alex immediately sprang into action, his focus returning to command mode. Lyra, we have another situation, he said. I know this is sudden, but we need your expertise again. She nodded, already moving toward the equipment. I've been monitoring residual signals from the first probe. There may be patterns we can use, but this one, it's different. We'll have to adapt fast. As they prepared the shuttle for launch, Alex watched Lyra work. Her hands moved quickly and efficiently, but now he saw more than skill. He saw the depth of experience shaped by her past. The scars she carried hidden beneath her composed exterior were the source of her resilience. Every decision she made, every adjustment to the systems, reflected a lifetime of surviving against the odds. During the shuttle launch, Alex and Lyra sat side by side in the cockpit. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a silent reminder of the dangers and wonders of space. Alex could feel the tension in the cabin, but he also felt a quiet confidence knowing Lyra was at his side. Lyra, he said quietly, can I ask you something personal? She didn't look up immediately. Depends on the question. Do your scars, do they define you? Lyra's hands paused on the controls. She let out a slow breath. They don't define me, but they remind me of who I am and what I've survived. They tell me that I can face fear, pain, and failure and still come out the other side. That is something no one can take from me. Alex nodded, understanding more than words could convey. He realized that true courage was not the absence of fear, but the act of continuing despite it. And Lyra had proven time and time again that she embodied that courage. As they approached the probe, it became clear that this one was more advanced than the previous. Its movements were faster, sharper, and more erratic. The shuttle rocked as it emitted sudden pulses of energy. Alarms blared and sparks flew across the control panels. "Status," Alex shouted. Lyra's voice was calm, precise, and confident. "Minor structural strain. We can handle it." Diverting power to shields. "I need 3 more adjustments to stabilize the counterfield." The crew worked seamlessly under her guidance, following her commands without hesitation. Every move she made reflected the lessons learned from her past, the times she had been forced to adapt, to survive when failure was not an option. Suddenly, the probe shifted sharply toward the colony. Faster than any calculation could predict. Alex's heart raced. "Brace for impact," he shouted. Lyra's hands flew over the controls, her mind moving faster than anyone else's. "Not yet. I can redirect it." A pulse of energy shot out from the shuttle, colliding with the probe's force. The ship trembled violently, but slowly the probe's path began to change, diverted safely away from the planet. Sparks continued to fly, alarms continued to blare, but the team held steady. Finally, the probe was neutralized, drifting harmlessly into the void of space. The crew exhaled collectively, relief washing over them like a tide. Alex looked at Lyra, awed by her courage, skill, and calm determination. "You did it," he said, voice filled with respect. "You saved them." Lyra looked at him, eyes steady. "We saved them," she corrected. Together. Alex knew she was right, but he also understood that without her resilience and brilliance, success would have been impossible. He felt a deep admiration not for her appearance, but for the strength, intelligence, and courage she carried. After the shuttle returned to Elysium Station, Alex and Lyra walked through the corridors together. The station was quieter now, the hum of activity subdued as repairs and reports were completed. "Lyra," Alex said quietly, "I want you to know something. I see you. Not just your skills, not just what you do, but you. All of it, the scars, the courage, the determination. You're remarkable." Lyra's expression softened, and for the first time, she allowed herself to show a hint of vulnerability. "Thank you, Commander," she whispered. "That means more than you know." They walked in silence for a few moments, listening to the hum of the station, the soft echo of footsteps in the corridor. Alex realized that understanding someone's scars, recognizing resilience and courage was more important than admiration for appearances. Lyra had taught him that true strength was built in the moments of hardship, in the choices to keep moving forward even when the past threatened to hold you back. As they reached the observation deck, the stars stretched endlessly before them. Alex felt a sense of calm, a quiet understanding that the challenges they faced were part of a larger journey. Humanity was far from perfect, but its greatest strength lay in courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. Lyra stood beside him, her posture relaxed, yet still carrying the weight of experience and scars. "We'll face more challenges," she said quietly, "but together, we can handle them." Alex nodded, knowing she was right. He realized that every scar, every hidden struggle, every act of courage mattered. And in seeing her, truly seeing her, he understood that humanity's greatest strength was not in technology or appearance. It was in resilience, in heart, and in the courage to face the unknown. For the first time, Alex felt that he had truly learned what it meant to respect strength, to recognize the value in scars, and to appreciate the beauty that comes from surviving against all odds. And he knew that the next mission, whatever it might be, would test every skill and every ounce of courage they possessed, but with Lyra at his side. He felt ready. The stars outside the station seemed to shine a little brighter that night, as if recognizing the triumph of courage, resilience, and human determination. And somewhere in the quiet hum of Elysium Station, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. Elysium Station glowed softly against the darkness of space, its circular structure humming with renewed purpose. The two probe missions had shaken the station, but they had also shown something important: humanity's ability to stand strong, even in the face of unknown threats. Commander Alex Rain walked through the corridor leading to the station's strategic command center. His steps were steady, but inside, he felt a mixture of pride and worry. Pride because the team had achieved what many thought impossible. Worry because the unknown always had a way of returning stronger. He paused for a moment outside the door, adjusting his uniform. His mind kept drifting to Lyra Voss. Her courage during both missions had been extraordinary. She had not only saved the colony on Haven 7, she had proven that even scars visible or hidden could become a source of strength. Alex admired her more than he could express, but he also respected her boundaries. She shared only what she chose to share. He understood that trust was something earned over time. When he entered the command center, Lyra was already there. She stood beside a projection table, reviewing new data streams with intense focus. The room was filled with officers and specialists, but Alex noticed her instantly. "Morning, Commander," she said without looking up. "Good morning," Alex replied, stepping beside her. "Already working?" She nodded. "The probes we intercepted, they were not random events. I found traces of coordinated signals." Alex's brows tightened. "You mean someone sent them deliberately?" "Possibly," Lyra said, her voice calm but serious. "Or maybe a larger system controls them. We don't know yet. But the patterns are too similar to ignore." Before Alex could respond, Admiral Clark entered the room. "Everyone, take your positions," he ordered. "We have important updates." The room fell silent. A large hologram lit up in the center of the room, displaying star maps, energy readings, and transmission patterns. "We analyzed the data from both probes," the Admiral began, "and we believe they are not weapons. They are scouts. Their purpose is unclear, but they may be observing us, testing us, or mapping our colonies." A ripple of concern passed through the room. Alex felt a quiet heaviness settle in his chest. Humanity had faced challenges before, but the unknown always carried its own fear. However, Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady. "If they are scouts, then our response has sent a message. We are not weak. We are not passive. We adapt quickly and we survive." Her words brought a sense of calm over the room. Even the Admiral nodded approvingly. "We will prepare for possible future encounters," the Admiral said. "But we also need to recognize the efforts of the team who saved Haven 7, Commander Rain, Engineer Voss, and the entire mission crew." Applause filled the room. Alex glanced at Lyra, who gave a small, humble smile. She didn't enjoy attention, but she deserved every bit of it. After the briefing, Alex and Lyra walked down the quiet hallway together. The station lights glowed softly against the metallic walls, creating long shadows as they walked. "You spoke very confidently back there," Alex said with a smile. "You impressed everyone." Lyra shrugged. "I only said what was true." "We are strong when we work together," Alex nodded. "True, but your words carried something more. Hope." Lyra glanced at him, her eyes softening. "Hope is important, especially when the unknown feels bigger than us." They continued walking until they reached the engineering deck. Alex hesitated before speaking. "Lyra, can I ask how you stay so calm, even when we're facing something completely unfamiliar?" She paused, thinking. "Because I've learned that panic never helps. Calm thinking saves lives. And because, when you've survived something difficult before, the next challenge feels less frightening." Alex thought about her scars, the ones she hid from the world. They were not just marks on her skin, they were memories of battles she had already won. Before he could respond, an alert sounded through the station. "All key personnel, report to mission control. Unknown vessel approaching." Alex and Lyra exchanged a quick, sharp look. Neither spoke. They ran. When they arrived, the room was filled with tension. The hologram in the center displayed a small vessel drifting toward Elysium Station. It wasn't moving aggressively, but it wasn't responding to communication signals either. "Is it another probe?" Alex asked. Lyra shook her head. "The energy signature is different. This might be something we haven't seen yet." The Admiral stood at the front of the room. "We are not taking risks. We're preparing a response team. Commander Rain, Engineer Vos, you're leading it." Alex nodded. "Understood." Lyra looked at the readings again, her brow tightening. "This vessel has no weapons active. I think it's damaged, possibly stranded." Alex blinked. "You think it needs help?" "It's possible," she said softly. "Not every unknown is a threat. Some are. Lost." Her voice was distant, thoughtful, almost as if she were speaking from experience. They boarded the shuttle again. This time the atmosphere was different. There was less fear and more curiosity, though everyone remained cautious. The stars stretched endlessly outside. The shuttle window as they approached the small vessel. The unknown craft was unlike anything they had seen before. Its silver exterior was covered in intricate patterns, glowing faintly as if lit from within. It emitted no sound, no signals, and seemed to drift aimlessly in the quiet of space. Alex turned to Lyra. "Your call." "What do you think?" Lyra stepped closer to the console, analyzing the readings. "Its energy core is failing. If it collapses, the vessel could implode. We need to stabilize it. I can send a controlled energy burst to balance the core, but it's risky." Alex trusted her completely. "Do it." Lyra took a deep breath and began the process. The crew watched in silence as she worked, her fingers moving with steady precision. Alex noticed the slight tremble in her hands, not from fear, but from the intensity of the task. She cared deeply, more than she allowed others to see. Suddenly, the vessel pulsed with a bright flare, shaking the shuttle. Alarms blared, Lyra. Alex shouted, "Status." Her voice remained calm. The core responded. One more adjustment. The flare dimmed. The drifting vessel stabilized. The lights inside its structure flickered weakly, then glowed steadily. "It worked," Lyra whispered. "We saved it." The crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. Then, unexpectedly, the vessel emitted a soft signal, different from anything human-made. A gentle tone filled the shuttle, almost like a greeting. Alex looked at Lyra with amazement. "It's communicating." Lyra smiled, a soft smile filled with quiet triumph. "Maybe we just made contact." They guided the vessel back toward Elysium Station. As they approached the docking area, the signal from the vessel continued, calm and steady. Back on the station, the atmosphere was electric. Scientists and officers hurried to analyze the data, and the Admiral congratulated the team again. This was more than a rescue, it was a historic moment. Later, when the excitement had calmed, Alex and Lyra stood by the observation deck once more. The stars looked brighter that night, shimmering like endless possibilities. "We did something amazing today," Alex said softly. Lyra nodded. "We helped an unknown vessel, something beyond us. That says something important about humanity." Alex looked at her, feeling a deep respect for her bravery and heart. "You always see the good in things, don't you?" Lyra shook her head gently. "No, but I try to see the hope. Because hope is what keeps us moving forward." Alex studied her quiet expression, the strength in her eyes. "You're remarkable, Lyra. Your scars. They don't limit you. They give you strength." She looked down for a moment, her voice soft. "And you don't judge me for them, ever," Alex said firmly. Lyra met his eyes again, and for the first time, her smile reached her eyes fully. "Thank you, Commander." They stood together in silence, watching the stars and the rescued vessel now safely docked. In that moment, Alex realized the truth. Humanity's greatest achievements weren't just in technology or exploration, they were in compassion, courage, and the ability to see beyond the surface. And Lyra, she was the living proof of that. The triumph was not just in saving the vessel. It was an understanding that strength could come from anywhere, from scars, from survival, from hope, and from the quiet bravery of people like Lyra Voss. Elysium Station floated quietly against the backdrop of countless stars. The events of the past weeks, the 2 rogue probes, the unknown vessel, the missions to save Haven 7 had changed more than just the station's routines. They had changed people. They had changed Alex Rain and Lyra Voss. Alex stood on the observation deck, looking at the distant horizon, where stars stretched endlessly into darkness. There was a calm in the station now, a rare moment between crises, and he felt it deeply. For the first time in months, he allowed himself to reflect. Not on missions or calculations, but on humanity itself. He heard a quiet voice behind him. "You're thinking too much again," Lyra said, smiling slightly. Alex turned. "Maybe, but thinking helps me understand." Lyra stepped beside him, leaning lightly on the railing. "I think I understand too. We're human. That means we adapt, we survive, and we keep going even when things seem impossible." Alex looked at her, noticing the quiet strength in her posture. Her presence was steady, calm, and reassuring. And yet he knew that strength was forged through experience and scars, not born without struggle. "You've changed a lot since the first mission," he said. "I mean, the way you handle everything? It's inspiring." Lyra's eyes softened. "I've always survived. But maybe now I see that surviving isn't enough. Sometimes we need to help others survive too. That's what these missions taught me." Alex nodded. "You've saved lives, twice. Not just with skill, but with courage. And not just courage that anyone can see you had fear, but you faced it anyway." Lyra looked at him for a long moment, as if weighing whether to say more. Then she spoke quietly. "You see me, Commander? Not just the surface, not just what's visible. You see the scars, the struggles, and yet you respect them. That's rare." Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had seen people judged for scars, for mistakes, for weakness. But Lyra? She had taught him that true respect comes from recognizing strength in imperfection. "I don't judge," he said. "I admire. And I've learned a lot from you." She smiled faintly, looking out at the stars. "We learn from each other. That's the best part of being human. No one survives alone. We rely on each other. We grow with each other." The moment was quiet, comfortable. For a while, they watched the stars together, letting the calm of space settle around them. But Alex knew that humanity's journey was far from over. There would always be unknowns, dangers, and challenges. Yet with people like Lyra beside him, he felt ready for anything. Later, the crew gathered in the station's main hall. Scientists, pilots, engineers, and officers had all come together to celebrate their achievements. The 2 rogue probes were neutralized, the unknown vessel was secured, and the colony of Haven 7 was safe. Admiral Clark addressed the room. "Today, we witnessed humanity at its finest. Courage, intelligence, resilience, and teamwork, these are the qualities that define us. And these qualities were demonstrated by Commander Rain, Engineer Lyra Voss, and the entire mission team. Humanity thrives not because of technology alone, but because of the heart, mind, and spirit of people like you." Applause filled the hall, echoing through the metallic walls. Alex looked around and caught Lyra's eye. She gave a small nod, her pride quiet but real. It was not about recognition for her, it was about knowing that her skills and courage mattered, that her actions had changed the course of events. After the celebration, Alex and Lyra returned to the observation deck. The station was quieter now, almost serene. The stars stretched in all directions, reminding them of the vastness of space and the endless possibilities ahead. Alex spoke first. "Do you ever think about the future, Lyra? About where humanity is headed?" She considered the question. "All the time. We've come so far, yet there's so much we don't know. But I believe that humans will survive, explore, and grow. We've already proven that." Alex nodded, thinking about the lessons they had learned. Humanity's strength wasn't just in exploration or technology, it was in resilience, courage, and the ability to adapt. And most importantly, it was in the ability to see the value in each other, even in scars and imperfections. "You've taught me something important," Alex said quietly. "That true strength isn't always visible. That beauty is more than appearance, it's courage, perseverance, and heart. Lyra looked at him, her expression softening. And you've taught me that trust and recognition are powerful, that someone noticing what you've overcome, it matters. They stood in silence for a moment, letting the weight of their experiences settle. The victories, the dangers, the unknowns, all of it had brought them to this quiet understanding. Humanity was more than survival. Humanity was resilience, heart, and connection. A soft chime from the station's communication system interrupted the silence. Alex glanced at it. Another mission? Lyra shook her head. Not yet. For now, we rest. We reflect. That's just as important. Alex smiled. I couldn't agree more. For hours, they remained on the observation deck, watching the stars. Alex thought about the missions, the challenges, and the courage he had witnessed. He realized that humanity's greatest triumphs were not always celebrated. They often happened quietly, in moments of resilience, bravery, and determination. Lyra finally spoke, breaking the silence. Commander, thank you. For seeing me, for respecting what I've survived, for trusting me. Alex shook his head. No, thank you, Lyra, for teaching me what true courage looks like. For showing me the strength that scars can represent. For proving that humanity's greatest asset isn't technology, it's the people who wield it with heart. She smiled, a genuine, warm smile that reached her eyes. For the first time, Alex felt that he was seeing her fully, her past, her strength, her courage, and her hope. The stars outside the station seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the triumph not just of a mission, but of human spirit. Alex realized that no matter what challenges awaited them, humanity's resilience would always shine through. As the station lights dimmed for the night cycle, Alex and Lyra remained on the observation deck. They didn't need words. The quiet understanding between them said everything. Scars did not define weakness. They defined strength. Fear did not define limitation. It defined opportunity. And together, humans could face the unknown, overcome obstacles, and reach new horizons. The universe stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries yet to explore. But Alex felt a deep certainty. Humanity, in all its imperfection, would continue to rise. They would adapt, survive, and thrive. And in that journey, courage, hope, and the recognition of strength, especially the strength hidden beneath scars, would guide them forward. Lyra glanced at Alex, a small laugh escaping her lips. We make a good team, don't we? Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond the thrill of missions or the rush of danger. The best. And we'll face the future together, whatever it brings. Together, they watched the stars, silent witnesses to the triumph of humanity. In every flicker of light, every distant planet, and every challenge that awaited them, they saw the promise of the future. A future defined not just by survival, but by courage, compassion, and the indomitable human spirit. And somewhere in that vast expanse, Alex and Lyra knew that humanity's story was just beginning, bright, resilient, and unstoppable.